This 26 Sports and CCTV high school football presentation is brought to you by Wolverine Power Cooperative and Great Lakes Energy. Your local electric cooperative is looking out for you. And by Munson Healthcare Cadillac Rehab Services.
Welcome back to McBain High School. Second quarter on the horizon as the Ramblers have a 6-0 lead over the Clare Pioneers here on the 26 Sports and CCTV Michigan High School Football Game of the Week. I'm Derek Tate alongside Dan Gussert as we are about to see the McBain Ramblers kick off to start the second quarter. But we saw on the very last play of the first quarter, Caden McGillis on third down jump a hitch route and take it to the house. That's Colt Smedley who takes it at the 14-yard line. And Smedley's got some room to run. Smedley into Ramblers territory, and he's going to take this one to the house. Touchdown, Clare.
We do have a flag way back around the 20 to 30-yard line here. Let's see what the call is. And I tell you what, that young man's got a jet engine for legs.
Untouched all the way. It would have been an 86-yard.
Sounds like we're having a little
Yeah.
here, everybody. Are we back now? It looked like we had a little audio issue right there. While we get that adjusted, that's going to come back as Smedley with that run. Untouched, like you said, Derek, but holy mackerel, that kid's fast.
Yeah, he's got some wheels on him as he took an 86-yard return to the house untouched, knifing right through the Ramblers coverage unit. Instead, it comes all the way back, and it's a 1st and 10 at the 20-yard line, and they still have a 6-point deficit as Shane Jenkins retakes the field, and he's going to be running the option, and there's the quick pitch around the edge to the slot back, John Bushy.
You know where that flag was thrown? It had to be on one of the first, one of the closest blocks when he received that kickoff. And really, there wasn't anybody kind of near him. So, unfortunate for Clare.
Yeah, unfortunate penalty that head coach Kelly Luplow can't be happy about it. 4-yard carry by Bushy. 2nd and 6 on the way for the Pioneers. And Bushy in motion. Give goes to Colt Smedley up the middle, and the Ramblers defense has been stout. It's going to be a gain of 1 and another 3rd down for this Pioneer offense.
There's a lot of room on this side right now. Near us is, I think that's Drew Schuster out here on the bottom of the screen, everybody. He is standing there by himself. They don't look for him.
Jenkins to the air. He's got his man, and he's got a 1st down. Does Jacob Recker. And good pursuit from the Ramblers defense. Just a little bit too little too late. That'll move the sticks with George Brown III on the stop.
Yeah, he and Trevor Bode with that tackle right there.
A little angle route out of the backfield, or out of the slot, excuse me. It was a little slant route to Jacob Recker. That'll move the sticks. Tough 1st down, rare 1st down for this Pioneer offense in the first half, but they're in business at the 33-yard line. Jenkins rolling right, looking to throw. And he drops it off to his man. That's Josh Gold, who is past the 45-yard line. That's a gain of 13. Back-to-back plays through the air. 1st down, Clare.
Austin Ealing, I believe, on that tackle. That's a good solid hit right there. But it does give Clare a 1st down as they approach midfield.
I'm not surprised to see Clare beginning to go to the air. We haven't seen much getting going on the ground.
And you can see in a couple of the setups here for McBain, their wide defensive backs are giving 15 yards of open space. And Clare hasn't really looked for just a quick out on any of those at this juncture of the game.
Here's 1st and 10 at the 46-yard line. There goes Smedley, and again, you see the quick feet as he, in a hurry, gets into the Ramblers' territory. This time, no penalties bringing it back, but brought down to the 47-yard line, gain of 7.
Give Clare a lot of credit on this drive. you run a kickoff back and you get a flag call on that, you can see the guys getting a little bit down, and they haven't done that. They've responded with a solid drive, 2 first downs in a row here.
And 2 carries in a row for Smedley. He sidesteps one Rambler tackler, and he's got the first down, brought down just at the 40-yard line. And we've seen the Ramblers defense off balance on this drive, as it's a little bit on the ground, a little bit on the air, and all of a sudden they're in Ramblers territory for the first time tonight. 39-yard line is where they'll spot it. 1st and 10 for the Pioneers. Jenkins looking on the quick slant. He's got his man. Ball comes out. And they're going to go ahead and say that is a completion and a fumble, but recovered by Drew Schuster.
That was an interesting play right there. You know, he was running with it and just kind of let it go. And fortunately for him, he was able to get it right back as 2 Ramblers were right around it.
2nd and 1 after the gain of 9, and that's Smedley who's got the first down. Smedley's got a lot more, and he's cut down right around the 20-yard line. And they've seemed to have gotten something going with the trips on the top side and hand the ball to Smedley and let him just try to create.
You know, Smedley and Schuster, kind of mirror image of themselves out there. Both not real tall, but certainly fast of feet, quick turns on there.
And on this drive, maybe trying to stop some of the momentum is head coach Pat Maloney of the Ramblers. They take a timeout, as it's going to be a 1st and 10 of the 21-yard line.
While we're in this timeout, Derek, how about we mention our sponsors again here tonight? Our presenting sponsor is Munson Healthcare Cadillac Hospital. Also sponsoring tonight, Fox Motors of Cadillac, your local Ford and Toyota dealership. LC Materials, the concrete experts. Builders First Source, your first source for flooring. Stop by and see them today. Doug Glass of Cadillac for all your home and auto glass needs. Pizza Plus, also of Cadillac, your local source for pizza and sandwiches for over 50 years now.
Pizza Plus is fantastic. I actually had some on my way here prior to this game.
That's never a bad thing to do, for sure.
It's always a good choice. I mean, and my diet does consist of pizza. Lucky for me. So tonight's crew, of course, got to give them a big thanks as well. Director Hannah Crouch. Tonight's crew, some of the folks over at CCTV in the Career Tech Center, Damian Brooks, Caden Darrow, Madison Speen, and Ashley Kohlberg. As we have a beautiful night, a little chilly, at McBain High School on senior night for the Ramblers. But we've got a 1st and 10 for the Pioneers offense. At the 20-yard line, here's the speed option. Jenkins going to tuck that one down. Slung down by number 17, Trevor Bode.
And I think you see the scout on that right there. As you were talking to Coach Maloney before the game, they want to keep him inside and not let him out. And they forced him to not make that pitch.
Gain of 2 brings up 2nd and 8. Smedley on the carry, tries to bounce it outside to the right side, cuts it upfield inside the 15-yard line. Tripped up by a host of Ramblers defenders. He's going to be shy of the first down marker, a crucial 3rd down deep in Ramblers territory.
3rd and maybe 4, maybe 4.5 right here.
3rd and 4, Jenkins out of the shotgun. Speed option, pitch goes to Smedley. Smedley tries to bounce it outside, and a great play by the cornerback, Caden McGillis.
Yeah, he just kind of waited on his block right there. He's got, probably 35, 40 pounds on his blocker and 6 inches of height. He just sat behind it and waited for him to come.
And that's exactly what you teach your corners to do in the running game. Keep that outside arm available and contain. Turn Smedley back inside. And that's no gain on the play, but the offense stays on the field for Clare. 4th and 5. Jenkins rolling to the right. Fires to the out, and he's got his man, Dawson John. And they called him inbounds. It's going to be where the spot is. But it looks like he may have enough for the first.
I tell you what right there, Colt Smedley took on George Brown III. And, he made the block when George Brown wasn't going to go around the block. And Smedley felt that one. You got to give him credit for standing in front of George Brown right there.
Yeah, George Brown III is not a small man. Smedley able to stick his head right in there and protect his quarterback Give them enough time to
First down.
give the Pioneers a first down. So you saw both defensive philosophies going into play there, where Brown does a good job keeping Jenkins inside the pocket, forcing him to throw the ball, but Jenkins, the senior captain, comes through on fourth down, and that'll move the chains. And that's just going to be just inside the 10-yard line, so it's going to be first and goal to go from the 10. Jenkins on the quarterback keeper, and great open field tackle. All the way on the
Is that Sealand, number 7 on that?
Austin Ealing.
Austin Ealing with that tackle. Sealand's 3, excuse me, everybody.
Great job by Austin Ealing. He was able to shed the outside wide receiver who was basically a lead blocker, and if Ealing doesn't shed that block and make the tackle, it's Jenkins who walks into the end zone. Instead, it's a gain of 2, and second and goal from the 8 for the Pioneers. Jenkins on the quarterback keeper, and this time nothing doing. Dropped for a big loss by number 74, Brad Bonico.
Yeah, a little exchange issue right there. Is he wasn't quite sure if he wanted to read, hand that off, or keep it, and it kind of blew that whole play up itself. And I forgot who made the tackle now.
That was Brad Bonico.
Bonico. He was right there to clean it up.
Was Jenkins, it was waiting on the outside linebacker, Trevor Bode. It was that little read option, 2-man game, and Bode did not commit. He just held his ground, decided to go ahead and keep it himself, and by that time, the Ramblers' defense got him in pursuit. Third and goal from the 10. Jenkins to the air. Searching, got his man in the end zone. Touchdown, Pioneers!
So Clare answers the McBain touchdown at the end of the first quarter, and they take the opening possession of the second quarter and go the length of the field.
Touchdown pass, 10-yarder. Shane Jenkins to Josh Gold. That's the equalizer. And on to attempt the extra point, which would be give them the lead, is number 10, Alex Hoffman. Kick is up. And that one splits the uprights and gives the Clare Pioneers a 1-point lead with 5:41 remaining in the first half. They lead the McBain Ramblers 7-6.
There's a nice job on that by holder Shane Jenkins. I think it was him to bring that ball down. That was a high snap. He did a great job with that.
As we saw, the Clare Pioneers by far their best offensive drive of the night. Actually, it was called back after a Colt Smedley 86-yard touchdown return on a kickoff, called back and started at the 20-yard line, and an 80-yard drive that was extended on a 4th and 5 completion from Shane Jenkins to Dawson John, and they ended up able to punch that one in from third and goal from the 10.
Lake City Trojans tonight with a big game also, as they look to pick up their 6th win. They have 5 and probably will be in the playoffs, and at this point they are up 14-7 over Sanford Meridian here tonight also. We'll see how that holds up for them.
Other action in the Highland Conference, which has been hotly contested. Again, Beale City last week was undefeated on the season until the McBain Ramblers, for the second straight season, handed them a goose egg on the scoreboard. And really, that may be whatever the final score is or result is here tonight. That game very well have punched the ticket to the postseason for the McBain Ramblers.
And, the 3 schools we're talking about here, McBain, Beale City, and Lake City, have just been the dominant teams in the Highland Conference for many, many years right now.
Hoffman to kick off, and a lot of footing issues, but finally corralled in is Joshua Hart Jr. able to recover for the Ramblers. Returns it to just past the 30-yard line. We'll mark them down at the 32. And this is where the Ramblers, who haven't seen the ball in a long time, that was a long drive by that Pioneer offense.
It'll be interesting to see what they come out with. They kind of run 2 different main looks, that tight formation, and they're coming out with the spread formation here.
And this time they'll go to the spread formation for wide receivers for George Brown III on 1st and 10. He'll go to the air. This one complete to Dan Rodenbaugh right at the 40-yard line, dropped by Colt Smedley.
He had a little mustard on that pass.
A little bit of confidence, and we know that George Brown can let it rip through the air. And we've seen his confidence grow throughout the entire season for the Ramblers. That was a gain of 8. 2nd and 2 for McBain. And to the air again is George Brown III. Pump fakes. He's got a man way behind the defense. It's Sealand. And there is a flag as Sealand was about 5 yards behind the nearest defender, which was number 34, Alex Warner. And Warner didn't play the ball. And there's a flag.
They're indicating to the officials what his coverage was on that, and that they felt, I guess, that contact wasn't made, but it is called.
See, as upset as you may be if you're a Clare Pioneer fan or one of their team members, Sealand had him beat on play.
Absolutely.
Had him beat by a mile on the play, and the throw was just a little bit late. I mean, just didn't have enough on that throw to George Brown III to be able to take advantage. Otherwise, that's 6 points.
Yeah, that was about his third read, I think, for George Brown III on that. Happened to see him open out of the corner of his eye and let her go, and just didn't have enough to get it all the way there.
But they'll take 15 yards and a first down at the 45-yard line into Pioneer territory. Brown back to pass. In trouble. Lets it rip deep. He's got Sealand, and he hauls it in. Touchdown, McBain. A 45-yard touchdown strike. George Brown III to Gavin Sealand, and the Ramblers retake the lead.
Yeah, looked like 34 Alex Warner back there for Clare. Tripped and fell and left Sealand wide open, and boy, does McBain answer that long drive by Clare with one of their own, but much quicker.
And the Ramblers look like they're going to keep the offense out there as they had their first extra point blocked. So they're going to attempt the 2-point conversion as they lead 12-7. And it's George Brown III out of the shotgun. Rolling right. Dumps it to Rodenbaugh. And the 2-point conversion is good. So off of the 80-yard touchdown drive from the Clare Pioneers, it's the Ramblers that answer right back, and they retake the lead 14-7 with 4:54 remaining in the first half.
That's a heck of a drive by the McBain Rambler offense right there, and a great answer early on in the second quarter here. As the first quarter, no scoring, lots of 3-and-outs until right at the end of the quarter when McBain finally punched in, and the second quarter here is opened up with a little bit more offense.
We saw Gavin Sealand, he's a do-it-all weapon. You can give him the football on the ground, and certainly he's proven on back-to-back plays that he's capable of creating all kinds of issues in the secondary for opposing teams as he gets behind the defense 2 plays in a row. This time they connect for 6, and actually it's the second straight week that George Brown III and Gavin Sealand have connected through the air for a touchdown pass of 45 or more yards through the air.
They got a good thing going, those two right now.
And the senior combination, George Brown III and Gavin Sealand, this time gives them the lead against a 7-1 Clare Pioneers team. But they better be careful, as we saw on the last kickoff. Colt Smedley.
Kick it to him, Derek? I think you might see McBain angle kick right here. I don't think I'd give him another opportunity to return one.
Well, they aim it towards number 4. Drew Schuster's got some quick feet of his own. He's on the right side of Colt Smedley. As we see Bonico with a little pooch kick.
Much safer.
And that's going to be Alex Warner, who scoops it up right around the 30-yard line, and a return of 7 yards to the 38. So they keep it out of Smedley's hands, but they give up good field position for the Clare Pioneers.
Yeah, you're I guess playing it safe, avoiding the giant play, and you're giving up the field position like you mentioned. It's one of those coaches' decisions. They're hard to make.
It's what they call pick your poison, as they decide to go ahead and surrender good field position to the Clare Pioneers. But they've got a 1st and 10 just shy of the 40-yard line. 4:50 remaining in the first half. Pioneers trail by 7. Jenkins rolling to the right. And he's got a man deep down the field, complete to Josh Gold. And he's run down from behind, finally dragged down just shy of the 20-yard line. And now we've seen both offenses begin to open it up through the air.
Nice little curl route in there. Shook his defender, was wide open.
Got him on the double move, it looks like. They've hit that hitch a couple times. Corners play up, got behind him. 1st and 10 for Clare.
We have a timeout on the field, I think, here.
Timeout, McBain. Second timeout taken by head coach Pat Maloney for the McBain Ramblers on the defensive side of the football. Just trying to slow things down, and you have a 7-point lead.
They had a late sub getting out onto the field. I think that's a great call. You don't want to have that player get into position or not get into position at the snap of the ball and give Clare up that touchdown.
As we've seen throughout this season, we know both offenses can run it up real quick, but in particular, the Clare Pioneers,
60-some last week?
Yeah, they've had 6 games where they've scored 40 or more points. So we know that they are a quick strike offense and can...
Those are numbers you see in 8-man football here in Michigan. So that's definitely a quick strike, talented offense right there for this Clare Pioneer Ball Club.
And what McBain has done well, and head coach Maloney of the Ramblers has wanted to accomplish, is keep Jenkins in the pocket, but he can throw it too. And we've got 1st and 10 at the 20-yard line for Clare. 4 wide receivers for Jenkins. Smedley next to him in the shotgun. Quick throw to the right flat. That one to Josh Gold. And they just playing cat and mouse over there, as that's Trevor Bode on the stop.
I think Clare's read what McBain's doing defensively and said to themselves, all right, we can't get our quarterback out on these runs, but where can we attack this defense? And they found the opening, and they're picking them for 15 yards here and there, and every now and then a little longer one.
2nd and 2, and that's Smedley straight ahead. And Smedley's got the first down for the Pioneers inside the 10-yard line. So it'll be another goal-to-go situation for Clare on 2 consecutive drives.
Just over 4 minutes to go here. Clare with a lot of time.
Jenkins gives to Smedley, and this time the Rambler defense all over that one. On the stop, number 62, Lucas Skolton.
Might have got a yard on that, perhaps.
And we've seen the Ramblers defense, who was fantastic in the first quarter, a little off balance here in the second quarter. 2nd and goal from the 9-yard line. Jenkins working out of the shotgun. Back to pass. In the flats, he's got his man, Bushy. He's cut down just shy of the goal line by Caden McGillis. Gain of 8. That's going to bring up 3rd and goal from the 1.
McGillis with a nice job on that read right there. Left his receiver on the pass and made a touchdown-saving tackle.
3rd and goal. Jenkins on the quarterback keeper, and he's into the end zone. Touchdown, Pioneers.
Yeah, he gave a little shift in the backfield right there and dodged one of the McBain defenders. I think it was Josh Hart, number 16, came up with air on that. You can see why he's that dual-threat quarterback.
As now we have a touchdown through the air and a touchdown on the ground for Mr. Jenkins. And bringing on Alex Huffman for the extra point. Kick is up and no good. So both teams exchanging missed extra points, and this one costly as it allows the McBain Ramblers to hold on to a 1-point lead with 3:30 remaining in the first half, as the Ramblers are on top 14-13.
Well, we're getting treated to a pretty solid game here, Derek. It's been a lot of fun to watch so far. Both teams playing real solid football, great tackling going on, and certainly a lot of skill on offense for both teams.
All of a sudden, the floodgates have opened on both sides now. Only 1 offensive touchdown for the Ramblers. Of course, they scored on a pick 6 in the first quarter, at the very last play of the first quarter, from Caden McGillis, who jumped a 3rd down hitch route, took it all the way to the house, and then we saw an 80-yard drive after a 86-yard kick return got called back from Colt Smedley. And now we've seen on consecutive drives here for the Pioneers, they've been able to punch it in.
They've had McBain's defense on their heels 2 possessions in a row right here. McBain with a chance to answer here in the last 3.5 of quarter number 2. And have some great momentum then, obviously, heading into that locker room.
We've seen really Josh Gold become an issue for this Ramblers defense. He caught the 10-yard touchdown on 3rd and goal on the first score of the game for the Clare Pioneers, and then 2 back-to-back receptions, 1 long one, a 50-yarder, to set up this scoring drive. But Pioneers could not capitalize to tie it up on the extra point. And it's going to be Hoffman to kick off for Clare. And it's McGillis who can't quite handle it. Finally corrals it at the 16-yard line. He's holding it like a loaf of bread. You better tuck that sucker in. And now he tries to pitch it to Gavin Sealand. He gets it off.
Well, whistle's been blown. Play was blown dead. I wonder if that was something that they had set up and just couldn't quite get to. As we've had some sound technical difficulties here. Not sure if everybody's picking us up.
We do. Here I am. I'm trying to go full on technical operations guy myself while trying to announce. So my humble apologies if I miss a little of the action on the screen, but we have a little bit of static. My humble apologies on the audio. But we do have 1st and 10 for the McBain Ramblers. They've got a 1-point lead and 3:19 remaining in the opening quarter, or opening half. My humble apologies. Out of the T formation, give goes to Gavin Sealand.
Yeah, McBain very fortunate right there, as a lot of things could have gone awry with that kickoff. And they do end up with not very good field position. And, you know, they're going to try to probably use a little bit of clock here, and I don't imagine them to snap real quick. Unless they get the first down, then you might see them pick up the pace a little bit.
And you see them working out of the T formation on 2nd and 3. Give goes to George Brown III, and he slips one would-be tackler, powers his way past the 30-yard line, and they will get that first down. And we'll see if head coach Pat Maloney decides to open it up a little bit and try to add some points before the end of the first half.
Yeah, they are still a little ways back, as they still are 75 yards away from pay dirt here. They do not look to be in a hurry.
We do have a 1st and 10 at the 26. Long way to go, but we know that they can strike quickly. Gavin Sealand's the guy to keep an eye on. George Brown III out of the shotgun. Ethan Barton in motion. Back to pass is Brown. Brown's got his man. Leaping snag there by Rodenbaugh, but brought down by number 2. Shane Jenkins prevents a longer game, but another reception, another first down for this Ramblers offense.
2 minutes, 16 seconds to go right here, folks. Certainly kind of expect Maine to pick up that pace a little more now, as they've got back-to-back first downs on this drive.
They spent 2 timeouts earlier this half on defense, so they got to keep an eye on the clock. 1st and 10 from the 38-yard line. Brown back to pass, lets it rip deep into double coverage, but hauled in. What a grab! Are you kidding me? All the way to the 26-yard line. That's Josh Hart Jr. What a snag.
You know, we've seen them look deep down the middle on 3 different occasions. This is the first one that connects. One was a pass interference, and one was just a missed pass. So they definitely found something there.
A prayer answered there for George Brown III. Threw it into double coverage, but Josh Hart Jr. went up and got it. And we've got a first down for the Ramblers. They're in business at the 26-yard line. 1:40 remaining in the first half. But we got some movement, and that looks like it's going to be on the Ramblers. A false start. And that'll slow down a little bit of the momentum and bring up 1st and 15.
You know, they did a smart thing coming out of that tough field position. They took their time, got a couple of first downs, but then they let the Jets go. Nice job by Coach Maloney and his staff.
Here we go. 1st and 15. Brown, play action. Lets it rip deep down the field, looking for Sealand, and he almost hauls it in with 2 players defended or draped on him, but couldn't quite haul it in. That'll bring up 2nd and 15.
And once again, deep down the middle, they're finding that opening. George Brown's put the ball in pretty good position, hoping his player back there, his receivers, can make a play for him.
And it's going to be head coach Kelly Leplow, who's seen enough of some of these Rambler wide receivers running deep down the field. He wants to talk it over. And you got to think that they're going to play pretty conservative on the back end and make them try to just dink and dunk underneath, because George Brown III, he's every time he goes back to pass, he looks like he wants a home run.
And you know, Claire's a little small back there in the defensive backfield, giving up a lot of inches of height to some of those McBain receivers. So even if you're not totally open, you can count on your your teammate to go up and make that play a few times. And I think we might see him go back to that again.
You also take a look that if you throw an interception deep into enemy territory with how much time is left on the clock, it's almost like you're playing with house money. I mean,
absolutely,
it's a gamble. Yes.
Yep. It's only, I believe, second down here. So I don't know that we'll see him do it right here. We might see him come back with a run here.
Second down and 15 for McBain.
And they do have 2nd and 15 at the 31-yard line. And Brown definitely has the arm to get it there, but we'll see what they dial up on 2nd down. Barton in motion. Low snap. Brown steps up in the pocket. He's got a man streaking down the left side, and that's Ethan Barton, who can't quite haul it in. Great defensive play by Drew Schuster, the senior captain.
I tell you what, Drew's giving up those 6 inches we talked about, but that young man can leap. That was a heck of a play he made right there.
Went up to the high point of the ball against a much taller and lengthy receiver in Ethan Barton, able to break that one up. The Ramblers looking for a knockout punch here to end the first half, but we've got 3rd and 15 at the 31-yard line. Brown surveying the field. He's got Dan Rodenbaugh, another leaping grab by Rodenbaugh, and Rodenbaugh carrying defenders just shy of the 15-yard line, and that'll move the sticks and stop the clock with 1:07 remaining.
A lot of time right here. Nice throw right there. Put it over one defender and into his teammate's hands. That was a great throw by George Brown III.
And a great leaping grab, the second one of the night by Rodenbaugh. 1st and 10 at the 16. Rodenbaugh in motion. Brown rolling. Lets it go into the end zone, and that one picked off by Shane Jenkins. And that looked like it split 2 McBain Rambler wide receivers. Not sure who he was trying to go to, but it went right into the waiting arms of Shane Jenkins for his 2nd interception of the night.
Clare came with a little pressure up the middle right there. George Brown III not with as much time as he's had on the last throws. And with that defender in his face, he threw it up hoping a teammate could make a play. Probably would have been better off maybe to just throw that one away and try it again on the next down. But like you mentioned, turnover in the end zone. Clare's got to go 80 yards with about a minute to go here if they attempt to do it.
We'll see how Clare decides to play what is likely the final possession of the first half for the Pioneers. They trail by 1, but they have 53 seconds remaining in the first half, and Jenkins is going to be out of the shotgun. Give goes to Colt Smedley up the middle, and Smedley is going to drive his legs past the 25-yard line. It's going to be a gain of 6, and we'll see if they decide to try to hurry it up.
Yeah, Clare's taking their time. This is a great job of coaching here by both staffs here in the last, what you might consider to be 2-minute drives here. Just taking their time and seeing what happens.
Jenkins back to pass, rolling right, now fires it across the middle. He's got his man into Ramblers territory and still going. That is Alex Warner. Now he cuts it back into the middle of the field, and he might go. Warner inside the 10, slips another tackle, touchdown, Clare Pioneers.
Are you kidding me? And there is a flag back, 2 flags back there. Holding, I think, is the call. I tell you what, that's a heck of a run by that young man that's going to get called back. But what a job, and some great lead blocks out there by the rest of that offensive receiver corps.
That almost feels criminal to call that one off the board after that effort.
So
by
2 long plays here in the first half for touchdowns called back against the Clare Pioneers.
One by Colt Smedley on a kickoff return, and this one negates what was a 76-yard catch and run by Alex Warner. Slipping, had to have been 3 tackles in the secondary.
What was the call on that, Derek? Did you see the?
I didn't quite catch it. I believe it was a holding call
Okay.
on one of the offensive linemen of the Pioneers. And if you're McBain, you get to exhale. And if you're the Pioneers, try to dial up something like that again. But here we go, and it's gonna. This time they decide to go ahead and say enough is enough. And And that'll do it for the first half of action here on senior night at McBain High School. And boy, do we have a battle for the final 26 Sports and CCTV Michigan High School football game of the week. Two teams with playoff aspirations. We think that we're calling a playoff game right now as the McBain Ramblers lead the Clare Pioneers 14-13. We'll be right back with a halftime show here on 26 Sports.